38.
Basically, this generation is more liberal, more tolerant, more Democrat-leaning than the one before. It's not just because they're young.
For another point of view, it's Hard News with Russell Brown and Wammo on Kiwi.
Russell Brown from publicaddress.net, the Media 7 show on TVNZ 7 as well, joins us this morning. Good morning to you, Russell.
Good morning.
Now, have you heard about Google? They could be facing criminal investigations for collecting personal wireless internet data from New Zealanders while filming for its Street View project.
Yeah, and not just in New Zealand as well. There's a state attorney general in the US. Australia are making noises. Well, they're not making noises. They've actually announced a police investigation over there.
Yeah.
It is astonishing that Google would allow this to happen because the one bedrock of their business has to be trust.
And do no evil.
Yeah. Well, even do no evil, I mean, you can kind of argue about what that really means. But with something like this, the moment trust starts to erode in Google, then, their business really faces a challenge because it's based on us trusting them. They get to read our emails. And if they're doing this, if they're driving past doing Street View and capturing Wi-Fi data without permission, then why should we trust them?
But then again, maybe so the mistrust in this particular scenario, does it come from people not fully understanding the technical details of what they've actually done?
How do you mean?
Well, because what they've done is they've driven around and collected data that's freely available to anyone to drive around and collect, because if you're broadcasting from something from inside your house, expect it to leak outside the boundaries of your house and people will pick it up. Yeah,
but if you haven't made your Wi-Fi network secure, yes. I'm still not sure because it was there is actually an excuse. And the fact that they actually collected this stuff, things like snippets from emails and web pages that were being loaded at the time, presumably, it actually appears that maybe not people further up didn't actually know what was going on. But yeah, I think it's a really bad look for them, and it actually poses some danger to their business, frankly.
Because what they were collecting was information that should be helpful for geolocation, weren't they?
Yeah.
So if you couldn't get GPS, your phone would then go and search wireless networks around you, and then from the data that Google collected, it would be able to say, oh, you're in this location right now. Yeah, which is the way that when GPS isn't available, Wi-Fi triangulation, which works quite well in the US where there's a much higher Wi-Fi density. Yeah.
It's sort of handy. I just don't think it was, this is clearly not the right way to do it, frankly.
Well, we'll keep following that story. TVNZ was punked yesterday, the TVNZ breakfast show, when a chap came on purporting to be pro-whaling and pro-commercial whaling in New Zealand waters, came on, and in fact he was a comedian.
Indeed. I kind of wish he'd been funnier, actually.
Yeah, I saw the clip, and he was very serious.
Yeah, the clip was a bit dull.
Yeah.
And you sort of realised that Paul Henry was onto him because he wasn't very convincing. Fun idea, and I'm glad that TVNZ, after taking it down from YouTube, finally just let the clip go out.
Yeah.
I think when something like that's happened, you've just got to go with that, and everyone can see it and see that it actually wasn't that exciting anyway.
It'd be interesting to see how C4 use it, or how Jono's new show uses it, because the arguments that I think it was Guy, wasn't it? It was his name, the comedian. They were quite plausible. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because you already had Rick Giles on of Act on Campus, giving libertarians everywhere a bad name.
Yeah.
And all you have to do in something like that is say you're a libertarian, and suddenly it makes any crazy shit you might say plausible. So.
That's true.
But yeah, it should have been funnier. Not as funny as Rick Giles, who was real, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that was the problem. But that sort of stuff is pretty hard to do. I mean, I suppose the master of it, obviously someone like Sacha Baron Cohen, who gradually, peels away the layers of sanity to see how far he can get.
Yeah.
But yeah, a bit of fun. They must hate it there, though. I mean, it's a dreadful thing to happen to you if you are a news producer. Really, really maddening, I assume.
Because I'd imagine Paul Henry wouldn't have been very happy with someone behind the scenes.
No, quite. But at least he can kind of pat himself on the back, and I think he genuinely did spot that there was something odd here.
Yeah. Does it highlight though the I don't know, the breakfast TV? Just some of the inane stuff that kind of goes on breakfast TV, and it's just this thing, you've got to fill it up. You've got 3 hours and you just got to fill it up with something.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to fill it up every morning as well. And those guys don't necessarily know what's coming along, down the chute either. When you're sitting there,
yeah,
I can kind of never believe how well people on those shows do. I mean, I don't know if you've ever used an auto cue. I have mine done very particularly on Media 7.
Yeah.
I like to have full stops and upper and lower case and paragraph breaks and line breaks.
Yeah.
The way that you get it on those shows, it's all in capitals. There are no bloody carriage returns. I actually don't know how they do it. Especially when they're not really briefed on stuff that's coming up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is a very good point. People watching at home don't really know how difficult it can be to be sitting in front of a camera like that. Yeah.
You've got to have a very quick wit. And for I've criticised Paul Henry in the past, but he is very, very fast. He actually tended to have a little party piece of telling a really appalling joke just before the red light went on. He had a very good sense of when that light went on, which would kind of leave you flailing sometimes. So I used to do breakfast, and then you could, here you said what? Oh, right, and we're on television.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thanks for giving us that behind-the-scenes glimpse of what's going on in TVNZ. Thanks so much, Russell.
Okay, cheers.
Media 7 as well, and the website, public address.